night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Hello. Yeah, particularly lacking ABS and traction control. He's going to have to modulate all that with the finesse of his feet. He has plenty to go around, but we'll see how he does against the more equipped cars in the class. Oh no. Can they hear anyone?
I imagine they can hear you.
Oh, good times.
Okay, alrighty. Now my mic's picking up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna run this back one more time. You ready, Pasha?
Sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to round 3 of the inaugural GT4 Plebian Racing ACC season. Was supposed to be round 4, but ACC servers decided they did not like us last week, and COTA has now become the new round 6. I'm Dave Martin, joined here in the booth today by Pasha Patterson.
Hello again.
Alrighty, to start it back over, TJ had the fastest time during practice with a surprise, with almost a half-second clear of the next best guy. But one thing I know about the Maserati on Oulton is the tires are eaten up like crazy. So I would be very surprised if we saw... I'd be very surprised if we saw that consistent pace. It's a sprint race with only 30 minutes to go, but at nearing the end, tires start to fall off. So I'd expect to see Peter, Colin Marshall, Joel Dallas, and a bunch of others starting to kind of push their way in there and battle for the lead near the end of the race.
That's a good point. If TJ can pull out an early lead, he might be able to keep everybody behind him as the tires fall off, but he's going to be looking to improve on his qualifying time and get out there closer to the pole so he can extend that lead. He's plenty fast, but there's there's a nice deep field of very good drivers here tonight who can challenge him from that top spot.
I know I'm not the only one. His speed scares me a little. Like,
he's just consistently fast in everything he sits in. So we've raced together in pro sim racing events in the past, and well, I say raced together. We've been on the same track together, but haven't been very close very often.
I was excited to finally get a chance to race with them, because I was going to originally run the GT4 series. I ended up getting roped into commentating, but after seeing his pace, I realized I would have had plenty of people to fight, just not him. So he's on that same level as Luke and all the other aliens.
Yeah, I might be in the same boat. I do love the look and feel of ACC, but in the interest of the safety of everyone else in this championship, it might be better to have me up here in the booth.
I've driven with you enough times. I feel like the biggest risk you have is the driver behind. So, but, I'm glad you're joining me in the booth today. Going over the standing, I'm surprised to see TJ's in third right now with Peter in first in that Alpine, and Colin Marshall in second, TJ in third. I think TJ's probably getting held up by traffic. I can't imagine what else would be throwing him off, because in practice he's able to run a 41.9, which is insane.
Yeah, and there's a good mix of manufacturers up here in the top 5, all different cars, and 6 different cars in the top 7. So nobody really getting much of an advantage based on the different handling characteristics or horsepower of the cars. It's a good mix-up, and TJ's going to be... It's possible he's held up in traffic, possible that the tires just aren't heated up yet, but we'll see how this goes. We've still got 11 minutes is a long time for things to happen out there, and it is... Oulton's not a big track, and we do have, 30 cars tonight, so it'll be a challenge just to get some clear tarmac out there and set a good time.
I've driven Oulton a few times. I'm not going to pretend like it's one of my favorite tracks, but there's so many spots where it's just, you mess up and you lose a ton of lap time. It's just, speaking of it being an old track, it's difficult. There's really not many passing opportunities, I feel. All the opportunities come from a mistake of the driver in front. So I think qualifying is going to be very important here. If you can manage to put your car up on the front, like right now Eric Diaz is sitting in pole position. So if you can manage to put your car up in that up in first, you can pull out in the first corner during the race. You can kind of just relax. You don't really have to push the car anywhere near as hard as you would think. At Oulton, it's kind of like a Monaco in that sense. It's hard to get around people.
It is an old, sort of tight, classic British club level track. Of course, the chicanes in Sector 2 make things just a little bit tighter as well. We've got somebody off there. In the Miller High Life car, very nice. I know we're watching O'Brien in the Rainbow Dash Alpine. That's very nice. But yeah. A lot of, as you say, a lot of places where you're fighting the track more than fighting your rivals on the track. So it'll be interesting to see. This may just be a battle of survival with this many cars on such a tiny arena. Folks in the back of the field may just want to hang back and avoid the debris clouds when things happen.
I imagine lap traffic is going to be. Even in a 30-minute race, you wouldn't think lapped traffic would really exist, but occasionally, somebody messes up in a corner and leaders start catching up to them. I imagine that's going to be where all the passing opportunities lie. I was watching at Brands Hatch, Nixon and TJ were battling for pole, and Nixon beautifully used the lap traffic to block the inside move for TJ, boxing him in. It was just really well done. I think lap traffic will be the decider.
Yeah, it's very possible, particularly on a track of this length with this many tight places, and with this many, there are a lot of corners where you have to. It feels like you're stopping to make it through the corner, and just like in traffic on the road, anytime there's a stoppage, that sort of ripples back through the whole field. So we're going to get a bit stretched out here pretty quickly. And as the back of the field starts stretching away from the leader, they're gonna come around pretty quickly. And at that point, we're just gonna have a swirling melee going around this place, and it'll definitely play a factor towards the end of each heat.
One of the drivers I'm kind of surprised to see where they are, Jeffery Bray, who's usually considered on par with Nixon, Peter O'Brien. They're all good friends with each other. I would have really expected to see him in the top 5 battling for that pole position right now in Quali. He's in 9th, doesn't really look like he has quite the pace he wants. And this, I believe, Mercedes.
Yeah, both he and Joel Dallas are both in the AMG, and it's a very strong car on tracks that have a lot of straight line speed advantage. But here they may be, that long front end with the weight all the way at the front, they may be struggling to get it through the twisty parts of the track, as well as something smaller like, say, the Alpine, or something a little bit more nimble like the McLaren.
When it comes to the twisty parts of the track, one thing Oulton does have is curbs, and the Camaro kind of loves curbs. It's usually bad at the twisty sections, but it just eats them. It's a monster truck. So I kind of expect to see a few Camaros start to make their way up in the championship today, hopefully seeing a few more qualify in the top 10.
Could be, and like the Mercedes with all that weight in the front, that does let them bounce over the curbs a little bit easier and not worry so much about bouncing too high. They're a little more durable over the curbs than some of the other cars. But with all that, with that imbalance of weight, it may be tougher to get through the twisties. We'll see how the advantages and disadvantages of each car play out during the race. But it's interesting to see the KTM and the Alpine, both relatively small cars, now working their way towards the front.
The KTM is one I really didn't expect to see up there, just in general, because when you talk about GT4s and ACC, granted, there's not a lot of conversation about them. But when you do, it's usually KTM sucks. The Maserati sucks. We're seeing Maserati in 3rd and 4th. Now, granted, that might be driver skills. Both those drivers are incredibly talented, but so is a lot of the grid. And all we hear is KTM sucks. Maserati sucks. This car sucks. This car is, and seeing the KTM in pole is, especially putting in a 41.9, it's really surprising to see what Diaz is able to do with that car.
Well, both of those cars are very quirky. They're distinctive in how you have to drive them, and in some ways very counterintuitive. And of course, the Maserati with no aids, you really have to do all the driving yourself, as it were. But if you can sort of get used to the driving style that the car demands, you can really squeeze a lot of speed out of them, and particularly the KTM at a track that demands nimbleness like this one. We may be surprised at the gap that he could pull in that thing as we get on into the race.
One thing I'm not sure about the KTM, do you know how it handles tires?
Well, it depends on your driving. It's very easy to understeer or oversteer in the car. Its center of balance is practically right in the middle. So it's a bit of a handful. So if you're used to it and are able to sort of modulate things and get through the corners smoothly, it's light enough that it should be pretty good on tires. But if you're not smooth with it and start to abuse it, you can really grind the tires off quickly.
Right. One surprise visitor into the top 10 right now is Joseph Chow. He's had a relatively rough season. I know with, I'm probably going to commentator's curse him, aren't I? But he's had a relatively rough season at Watkins. None of his races worked out. I don't remember if Brands was him or if it was somebody else, but just unfortunate luck. It really hasn't been working out for him. I know his thick thighs, save lives, livery is one he wanted to see on the broadcast quite a bit, but he hasn't really been able to do what he wants with that car, and usually qualifying is his strong suit. And he hasn't been able to find the pace. It's good to see him in the top 10.
Well, we saw this with him both in the World Tour and Small Wheel Series, where he had a pretty rough start to both of the last seasons of those as well. But as he got used to the car, got used to how it handles, learned what it could do and what it couldn't do, we saw him improve in leaps and bounds over the course of each season. And it may be that you know, as he gets more comfortable with this car, we may see that turn around for him here too.
And so I know he's been working with O'Brien, who's been giving him the time, really helping him. He's been sending, I believe, the telemetry data, videos, just trying to help give Joe everything he needs to find that little extra leg up and help him move his way towards the front of the field. And I know Joe's very competitive, so even if he gets a podium, he's unhappy. He wants to win, and it's a very, very tough grid. So the fact that he's even in 8th, I'm sure at one point when he hit it, he was grinning ear to ear, but I'm sure right now he's upset, and he's like, I could be 7th. So, but Luke, you're right. Thick thighs do not save his races, and that's been very evident.
Ooh, TJ having a bit of an off at the chicane on the backstretch, but he's now up into P2 on the chart. So he had a good lap in there somewhere, and he'll be looking to come around to the line and maybe get another one in before the end of the session.
If I was TJ right now, I'm still a little bit quiet. I apologize. If I was TJ right now, I would be livid. And why do you ask? If you look at the times right now, Pole is a 141.975. TJ at a 141.977.
Oh, wow. I
2
think we're going to have a good race tonight.
I hope so. I know TJ said for race pace, he could get a few laps in at the low 42s, but then his tires just started to drastically fall off in that Maserati, so he can't push it throughout the race. I think the first few laps, he's either going to decide if he wants to play he has to decide in the first lap if he wants to play the long game or if he really just wants to try to get that move done as early as possible and put all the pressure on Eric. But it's shocking. It's just shocking not to see him in pole. Shocking to see Diaz in pole. And also, like, I expected to see Bray's moved up to 6th, but I kind of expected him to be right next to Peter O'Brien and Nixon, but Colin Marshall separating them. Meanwhile, Joseph Chow is now in 10th. If he wasn't happy about 8th, he's definitely not happy about 10th.
Well, it's closer than it seems. I think the 3rd through 12th there are all within a second of each other. So just one hiccup in one corner could send somebody tumbling down the order. And it looks like we're gonna see a pretty mad battle here at the top half of the field to see who can make it through the first few laps and maybe stretch out an interval. And as you were saying earlier, with it being so tough to pass around a track that's this narrow, if either Eric or TJ can get out into the lead, even if they chew up their tires in the first half of the race, if they can just make their cars a little bit wider for the second half, they may be able to hold on to something.
You do it. I'm looking. Oh, TJ's bringing it into pits. I guess he resigned himself to 2nd. Peter O'Brien down a 10th on his current lap time. I'll go ahead and ride on board with him for a little. But it's just racing at the front. I've done it so rarely. Wish I could say I've been there more. I've gotten a few race wins in Plebian, but not as much as I would like. Whenever I'm in the front, I feel all the stress, and it becomes hard to keep the car together. It becomes hard when I know there's a faster driver behind me, and I might make a small slide and just gives him the opportunity to stick his nose right in. I don't understand how these drivers like Diaz, TJ, O'Brien, Nixon, Colin, Bray, how they're just consistently, time and time again, battling, calm, cautious. It's got to be the experience.
Yeah, I think particularly for folks who are not used to running at the front and who find themselves in the lead, there's that extra push. Is like, oh my God, I'm in the lead of the race. I could win this. And it's such a rush. It can be distracting. Whereas these guys who are so consistently fast, maybe it's old hat to be at the pointy end of the field, and it reduces that distraction of oh my God, I'm leading. So it must be a nice problem to have.
Here O'Brien does increase his best time by a few thousandths and decides to throw it into the wall in frustration. Meanwhile, we still have Joseph Chow getting ready to cross the line, moving all the way up to 8th. I'm sure he's happy with 8th now. Little last qualifying lap heroics from Chow. Let's go ahead and get some people in the booth. Get some interviews done. Well, it's the man himself, Joseph Chow. Hey, Joe, we have you in the commentators booth. A little bit of a last lap shootout right there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
How do you feel about 8th?
I feel like I could have done better, but I'm happy with it. Best qualifying so far.
I feel like you could have done better.
Yeah, I lost like 2/10 in the last lap.
Is there ever a time where you get a position and you're happy with it if it's not first?
No. Of course not.
Yes, that's what makes you a racing driver. How do you feel about this race going into it?
It's gonna be pretty crazy. Overtaking is gonna be next to impossible, but we'll see. Just gonna be patient. That's the key to this race, I think.
So
For sure. We've seen in some of the other seasons where over the course of the season, as you get more comfortable with the car, your times have just tumbled and gotten much faster as every week progresses. Do you feel like you're getting more used to the car now and more comfortable with it, and the times are starting to improve?
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I definitely feel more comfortable with the car right now. I just feel like I can get the weight transfer perfect.
weight transfer is a rare skill. Not all know it. But good luck in your race, or as Nixon prefers, bad luck in your race.
Appreciate it, of course.
I'm gonna throw you back up, but congrats on getting 8th on that last lap.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Bye bye. Alrighty, let's see if Diaz is here. Eric Diaz, you're in the commentators booth. Are you here, or are you going to the restroom?
I'm actually here.
Awesome. Congratulations on pole position. Is that a surprise? What's your strategy for the race?
Don't bin it.
Don't bin it. Okay.
Let the car be a rally car for a moment. It's got 110 millimeters of ride height, you know? I think that'll be enough. Hopefully.
Hopefully. How do you feel about your tires? Do you think your tires are gonna be fine throughout the whole sprint, or?
Well, it's testing out. It seems like it should be fine, but you're gonna have to do the race to find out. We're about to start right now, so let's make sure I'm actually got fuel in the car before we do a Quali 1 and then run out of fuel.
Well, knowing that you start pole on both sprint races, you think we can expect to see a double win?
Let's see. I just had to do it.
All right. Well, congratulations on pole position. I'm gonna throw you back up. I've been told not to say good luck to drivers anymore, as it does not help them. So bad luck to you, Eric. And
You can say break a leg.
I should break a leg, Eric. I'm not
Thank
allowed to
you.
say I believe in you either. So
Thank you.
no problem. I'm gonna throw you back up.
Mhm.
Congrats again on pole.
We have begun the march to the line.
Yes, we have. Let me go ahead and bring us back to. I had one task and I have managed to fail it. There we go. All right, we're good.
Green light, green light.
Green light. Oh no!
Just in time. We're here for the start.
Going down the straight. Diaz on the inside manages to keep first, but is Peter going to look to see what he can do? Going on the slipstream behind TJ. Eric staying in front of TJ. TJ back on the inside of the corner, looking like he wants to do whatever he can to get the position right now, but...
Oh, and there's a tap from the Alpine behind.
Oh, that's huge, but it looks like it might not have cost him any position. I stand corrected. Peter's up in a second with Jordan Nixon nipping at the heels, seeing what he can do going into the banked corner.
That was an awesome save from TJ after the contact. Incidental, certainly just a racing incident on a crowded track, but massive save and able to hold on to losing only one position as they head into the tight turnaround at the end of the course.
Nixon
oh,
now,
but not for long. It looks like he's going off.
TJ's back on the track, though. He ended up... Oh, wait, no, he is not. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, no!
Oh, big contact in the second chicane. TJ's around, and everybody's having to avoid him now. Oh!
A little more contact. I believe that's from Kurt Moss.
Job. So that sent TJ from the lead back to the back. And looks like his car's a bit banged up. He took a solid hit there to the right rear. Hopefully didn't take too much damage to the suspension there as he takes out one of the tire pylons for good measure.
Hold on, Pasha. We just had Peter O'Brien overtake Eric Diaz for P1. He is leading the race now. Diaz behind. Don't bid it. Apparently did not work out for Diaz. As we're seeing Bray and Nixon swapping positions. Nixon now in front of Jeffery Bray. Colin Marshall nipping at the heels of Bray. Looking to do whatever he can, but Bray has not given up this position to Nixon completely. Looking to see what he can do into the corner. Nothing to be made. Trying to get the exit. Sit in the slipstream. Wow. I was not expecting to see any positions change up in the first few laps. I thought with Oulton being as hard as it is to make a move, nothing would really happen.
Well, we had a lot of 2x2 action, as good as these folks are, and they've been racing each other for a while. A little bit more confident to take things too wide, but just didn't work out for TJ there in the chicane. Everybody else seems to have survived somehow. Oh, we've got a stoppage up in the hairpin, looks like.
Hold on to that thought. Right now we have Mike Middleton and Juan Carrez battling down into the chicane. Looks like Carrez in the McLaren doesn't get the stablest of exits. Let's see.
That tire pylon's still in the middle of the track. But Juan gives it a good punt out of the way, and we can continue.
That's one hard-hitting pylon. I've ruined quite a few races on it.
Fortunately, in this game, it seems to be destructible and not rooted to the ground with a giant iron spike. So bounces harmlessly out of the way, and we can continue.
A little different from AC in that regard. Meanwhile, Juan looking to see if he can do something going into what I believe to be T1. Not quite close enough, but he's sitting there in the slipstream. Looks like he has the exit. Looking to see if he can do anything right now. On to Mike Middleton, looking to see what he can do onto Juan. I stand corrected. Going into the corner, looks like a little bit of server lag, I believe, from Juan. Not exactly what we want to be seeing. Meanwhile, James Leader up into 14th, all the way up 3 positions, qualified in P17. Looking to see if he can make a move on Rodrigo Rodrigo. Riding on board with James going into the chicane. Like I said, the Camaro can just eat these curbs, and he definitely got the better corner. Looks like he might have the speed to see if he can send it up the outside. Maybe looking for some kind of switchback, hoping that Rodrigo outbrakes himself, but that's no luck for him. Meanwhile, Mike Sherwicki sitting right on James's heels, looking to wait for James to make a mistake, and that little bit of oversteer might have done it. But no, James is too good for that, and he manages to keep it together. We still have a good battle right now between Middleton and Juan, not slowing down at all. 2 tenths separating the two of them. Looking to see if they can get anything done. Mike Middleton is probably a little frustrated at this point. He knows that in the McLaren, tires do not last forever, and he needs to use them while he has got them. Right now at the front we have, or not at the very front, but we have at fifth and fourth place Colin Marshall and Jeffery Bray battling to see if they can get anything done. I'm sure Marshall wants to see if he can make his way up to Nixon and make his way up to Diaz. It looks like that might have given him the opportunity to do just that, going down the straight. Sitting in the slipstream, not quite close enough, but the exit of this chicane can change everything. Looks like he's got it. He's got the grip. Oh, he loses it a little right there. Giving a chance for Gavin Moore to start closing that gap. Meanwhile, Mike Chorowicki and James Leader still fighting with Rodrigo, looking to see if they can get anything done at the moment. James just kind of sitting behind the slipstream of Rodrigo. It looks like if there's any chance to make it, it's going to be right up here going into this corner. But the McLaren's just too fast on a straight line. Nothing to be done.
Keeping that car nice and wide. That battle now accumulating a fourth car at the back of the train.
And that fourth car joining is Kurt Moss. Kurt's definitely not slow. I'm sure he's doing whatever he can, but there's a battle going on right now between Silva and Keyshawn as we just missed the overtake as Keyshawn moved up into P19, passing Fernando Silva. But that doesn't look like the discussion's done there. Keyshawn looking to see if he can make a move on Jake Foucher. Silva looking to see if he can make a move back onto Keyshawn. Is there anything that can be done? Keyshawn on the inside into the next corner, but eats a little bit of curb. Can he save it? Yes, he does. He gets that position on Jake Foucher, leaving Silva the opportunity to see if he can make a move himself. Going down the straight, doesn't look like there's going to be anything done right now from Silva. Not close, not quite close enough. But Chorowicki and Rodrigo are battling. James Leader looks like he did what he needed to get around Rodrigo, and Chorowicki as well, leaving Kurt Moss just sitting there looking at Rodrigo. I'm sure he is upset at whatever happened. He didn't get the chance to get around.
Lurking at the back of that, back at the end of the straight there, just within view. TJ working his way back up the field, although already back up to 24th position. Just got around Saud. Actually, just got around, I think, Solomon in the Audi. And just trying to catch up and get back on terms with at least the middle of the field, if not the front, before the end of the race. Still got 20 minutes to go. I imagine he'll be climbing the order throughout.
Meanwhile, we got Matt Artem looking to see if he can make a move on the inside. Nothing to be done. Not quite close enough to have any overlap. And Silva knows it, closing that door, but Matt should have the exit. Looking to see if he can do anything going into the corner. He's got the... Oh, a little bit of a bump! Knocking Silva wide. Looking to take the inside. Our stewards are going to have a little look at that, but no matter. Matt Artem gets the position up into P21, knocking Silva down into P22.
It's not decided yet as they head into turn one. Well, Silva concedes it for now. We'll see whether that lasts as they head through sector one. Taking a peek one side, then the other. Show that nose in the mirrors, trying to unsettle Artem and see if he can take that position back.
Looks like he might have the better exit right here. Oh, a little bit of grass might slow him down just enough. But he's not going to be happy as he sees TJ in his rearview mirror. Is there a scarier sight than that purple Maserati?
He's already up to 22nd. He's not going to wait around for opportunities. He's been making very decisive moves to get through this traffic, and with the pace he had in qualifying, if he can equal that, he's going to be dealing with some damage, I think. But I don't think that's going to hold him back from making the moves to get back up the field.
It looks like he's about to make a move on Silva right now on the outside. I think Silva might just have backed out, or maybe the exit wasn't exactly what he needed. Let's go to the TV camera. He's clear. Matt, who just got a move done, is now sitting the next one in his line of sight.
You can see a little bit of a dip of the nose from the Porsche there. I think Fernando realized who was beside him going down the straight and decided, you know what, I think I'll just concede this for now and see what happens in front of me.
Meanwhile, we have Mike Middleton looking to see if he can make a move on Juan. Better exit. He has everything he needs to look to see if he can go up the inside, except for the gap. That is not in his favor. It's Gavin Moore falling down the grid order. He is now, looks like he had a little bit of a spin himself.
Timing order showed he had a drive-through. He may be running afoul of track limits warnings already and had to take a penalty there.
It's never any fun.
For sure, especially when you do things like I do and go into the pits too hot on your drive-through and earn yourself another one.
A little bit of too much time in AC can do that one to you. I know a few drivers were struggling going through or making that transition, as most of our drivers are from AC. Oh, this camera is not a good one. Most of our drivers are from AC. So they were kind of struggling getting used to it. Meanwhile, Peter's just kind of sitting clear in P1. Just 3-second gap to Diaz behind. I think he's probably quite happy with this race right now.
Not sure what happened to Ferreira in the McLaren. He was P17, but has fallen down the order as well. Didn't see a penalty come up, but he may have had a little incident in the back. Currently fighting his way through the chicane, and all sorts of people piling up behind him.
Right now we're riding on board with Middleton, looking to see if we can make a move on Juan, sitting in the slipstream. Let's check out. Let's check with Matt Artem after we see how this goes. Right here, can he make a move? No, not quite close enough. Matt Artem only 2/10 behind Fernando in front. It looks like Fernando's been struggling. I've just seen him falling down the order. I don't see any damage. There's a little bit of front damage you can see on the inside of Fernando. Looking to see if he can make the move, going too wide through this corner. See, Matt is now in front as Fernando loses another position down into P20. Matt Artem up into P19. Now we have Salman Saad sitting behind Dean Solomon. Looking to see if they can get anything done right here. The Camaro versus Oulton. The Camaro from Saad. Looking to see if we can move, but Dean Solomon's close behind Fernando. Is he going to lose yet another position? Ooh, as Fernando makes a mistake, and Saad has the best chicane out of everybody. Is he going to have enough straight line speed? Oh! Dean Solomon, it's a little bit too much curb and unsettles his car, giving Saad exactly what he needs to get in front. And that is up to P20 for him. Meanwhile, Mike Middleton still looking to see what he can get made done. Colin Marshall just made a fighting right now with Jeffery Bray.
Contact between Middleton and Juan Kairos, and they are both catching Joseph Chow in 6th place in the Alpine. If they can stop fighting each other for a little bit, they may be able to make this a 3-car fight in the front. Oh.
Meanwhile, Middleton decides he is done fighting as he overtakes Juan for P7. But in the background, we just saw Bob Robson look to see if he wanted to make a move. Nothing ended up being made of that. But going into the chicane, it looks like Robson was the faster driver, I believe, qualifying in the top 10. I'm sure he's trying to do whatever he can to get around these drivers in front.
We are halfway through. Keep it up.
See what we have going on through the field. Derek Anderson, this is his first time racing with us. Separate with Bob Robson behind, looking to make a move. On the, oh, a little bit of contact. Looked like Anderson might have turned in on Robson. Unfortunate right there, but Robson's not quite done yet. He's sitting right behind Anderson. He has the straight line speed of the McLaren. Let's see if he can get something done going into the corner. No. He's not going to be able to recover quite that quickly. It's surprising right now. I see Colin, after that little incident with Bray, I don't know if Colin has some damage. It looks like he's not really closing the gap to Bray in front. He's able to maintain 2/10 pretty much the whole race at this point. It just doesn't seem to be working for him. Trowicki has a better exit than leader, it looks like, seeing if he can make anything happen. And sitting in the slipstream, going through the corner, looking to make a move up the inside. But James, being a veteran driver, knows Trowicki has no place sticking his nose there. And just continues with his late apex.
Yep, that wide line through the corner, doing a little bit better than Trowicki's cut in, because he slid out to the grass, understeering in that big Mercedes. And Kurt Moss is still lurking back there, waiting for one of these two to break their concentration so he can pounce on the opportunity.
What it looks like, it looks like it might be Trowicki that breaks his concentration, as Kurt Moss is closing in rather quickly, going into the next corner. He has a slipstream. Is he going to look to make possibly a late dive? No, he's too smart for that. But Gavin Moore is starting to close in behind. Little four-car battle right now for P11. Or for P12, I stand corrected. Meanwhile, it looks like Bob Robson looking to make a second attempt on overtaking Derek Anderson, going on the inside of the next corner. Does he have the move done? Anderson trying to outbrake him. Too wide, a little bit of contact. No, but it looks like Anderson did not leave the proper room, causing Robson to have to go eat a little dirt.
Well, he gave no more, no spare inches there, just about a car width and no more there to Robson. An aggressive defense, probably not, probably still kosher, but definitely not leaving any room for opportunities to pass there. This is going to be a fierce fight, it looks like.
It looks like Robson trying to make a move up the inside, as the inside of the next corner, and Anderson gives it up, trying to go for the switchback. Tried on board with Anderson, going through the banked corner, seeing if he can get the better exit. Sending his car through, but no, a little bit of a slide. Robson's able to maintain that. Now up into P10. See if he can make work of Ilpo in front. Meanwhile, surprise, surprise, guess who's still battling right now for P12? 4 cars. We have James Leader in P12, Mike Trowicki in P13, Kurt Moss in P14, and Gavin Moore looking to make a move right now on the outside of Kurt Moss, going into the chicane. Not exactly where I'd want to make it, but maybe he's thinking about the exit.
Yeah, on a track as narrow as this, you wouldn't think there were that many lines through the corner, but they're exploring every possibility, trying to find that little opportunity to get through.
And to be frank, it looks like it's working. Meanwhile, Mike Trowicki, I thought he'd be a little closer on the exit of that corner. Doesn't look like he's going to be quite close enough to look to make a move this time. Bob Robson already up on Mike Middleton, I believe, who is serving a drive-through in that McLaren. He's just falling down the order.
He's in the pits now. Looks like he's stopping. I hope he didn't forget to put his fuel back in after qualifying.
That'd be a very plebeian thing to do. As serious as some of us are about the racing, I feel like the relaxed vibes and just wanting to have a really good time is our focus. Sometimes we can lose a little bit of that and forgetting to load our setups and a few other things.
Forget to click the race button before the green flag, you know, stuff like that.
I wasn't going to do you like that. I was kind of disappointed because the way that battle was ending between me and you was, I wanted to see it again in the next race.
Well, it was a battle of wits that you clearly won, as I was witless at the start of that one.
Oh, it looks like Trewicki with a little slide, leaving the opportunity, slowing up Kurt Moss, which sends Gavin Moore up his inside. Kurt Moss running a little bit wide. I don't know if there's any contact there, but that's Gavin Moore up into P13. Now he's going to take a shot at Trewicki, trying to close that gap.
Rare mistake for Moss. Is usually laser focused. I've watched a few of his streams and things, and there's just no motion. This man's a robot.
I remember, and I think this is the race you're referencing. I remember his first time racing with Plebian. We saw what was, pardon me, but Foucher looks like he's trying to make a move on Fernando Silva, only 2/10 behind. Nothing really to be made of that. Yeah, as we were saying, our first race with Kurt Moss, I remember he was battling you in our first iteration of the World Tour. And just really... sorry, I'm going to be interrupting myself again as Rodrigo looks to see if he can make a move on Keyshawn Hall. Nothing to be made, but on the exit of this next corner, looks like he has the speed. He has everything he needs besides the line.
Even a little KTM could be made wide in the corner, and it looks like he's going to hold on to it this time.
But they're closing in right now on Jake Foucher in front. Oh, wait, that is not Jake Foucher. That is a lead lap car, or a lapped car. I can tell you very quickly, that is Mike Faisal, lap down.
Mike Zal in the Aston Martin there.
Faisal.
Not sure what set him back a lap, but there he is. He's certainly got... Oh, and an off right in front of them.
Just extra adherence to blue flag rules. Oh, on the outside right now, we have Jake Foucher looking to see if he can make a move on Fernando Silva. Looking to go for the switchback. And he might have it on the exit. Silva going to block him off. Seeing what he can do, but Foucher trying to carry as much speed through the corner as possible. Fazal looking to see if he can unlap himself right now, sticking his nose in this fight.
Everybody taking every possible line through that chicane, trying to avoid each other and maybe make the move. And now Hall and Ferrer are catching up behind, making this a 5-car train, 4 cars battling for position, and Mike's just hanging in there, begging him not to kill him.
Keyshawn trying to get around. Fazal not leaving this. Looks like he doesn't want to leave the space, doesn't want to get out of the way, but Keyshawn just has the... Looks like he might have it. The blue flag rules in this series are when you have a blue flag, you need to let the driver, you don't have to get out of the driver's way, but you need to maintain the racing line, and you should concede the position going, if they can manage to put themselves side by side. And looks like Fazal remembered that and backed out of it. But Jake Foucher fell off of Silva, but leaving himself right in the clutches of Keyshawn Hall and Rodrigo.
Yeah, Mike stuck in a sticky situation coming out of the final corner. Needed to concede the position, but also couldn't run too wide or else he'd run out in the marbles and lose the car completely. So had to hold it inside just a little bit and not give up as much of the space as maybe Hall might have wanted him to. But it all worked out in the end, and this battle still stays together.
Meanwhile, another battle going on the grid right now. Mike Trewicki still trying to see what he can make on James Luder.
Oh, and Foucher there just picking up a drive-through, probably a track limit warning again, right at the tail end of this battle. He's not going to be happy about that. That's going to take him right out of this fight. Oh no, Ferreira completely missing the breaking point for the chicane. Eating the grass. And then there were 3.
I mean, I feel like if you're Jake Foucher, Keyshawn Hall, or Rodrigo, you've had a hell of a race so far. Fernando included. Just really good racing from all these drivers. Keyshawn, look at this. Go ahead.
As hotly as they're contesting this, you wouldn't know this was for 18th place.
No. Until you said that, I thought it was a top 10 position they were fighting for.
There goes Foucher in to serve the drive-through already. That takes him out of this fight, leaving only 2 and a wide gap between them now, although narrowing quickly in turn 1.
Now back on board with Trewicki, looking to see if he can make a move on James. Looks like he had the better exit through the corner. This is the first time I've seen him have the better exit through a chicane. As I mentioned, the Camaro just eats those curbs. Trewicki looking to see if he can make an inside move, but nothing's available. Slotting right back in, but all of this fighting is just letting Gavin Moore slowly close the gap and see what he can do to keep himself involved. Ooh.
Oh, big hop over the curb, and it sends him wide and through the grass and into the barriers. Oh, my. That was dramatic. He was right on the bumper of leader. Couldn't quite get the exit he wanted. Hit the throttle maybe a little too hard. Hit the end of that curb, and off he goes. Yikes.
Meanwhile, TJ is looking to make a move on Kurt Moss. You know what? Let's finish that statement earlier we had on Kurt Moss. His first race was with you for the win at Misano in our first World Tour. We were driving TCRs. I remember watching that back and just the emotionless face. I was so sure he had a horrible time, and I was so sad. And I watched y'all's battle, and I thought it was insane. And then at the end of the broadcast, or at the end of his stream, you just see him go, "Whew," and I knew it was all stress.
It was just amazing watching the two streams back. You couldn't find two more different reactions to the same events because I was freaking out. I was sweating. I was yelling. I was like, I can't take this anymore. The stress is getting to me. And then you watch Kurt stream through the same event, and he's just laser focused. I envy that man.
Meanwhile, that laser focus is not helping him right now as TJ goes around the outside, and the Maserati moving up into P14. Only 2 seconds separate him and Trewicki, but 2 minutes left in the race.
We were saying TJ would have to save the tires and stay at the front of the race as much as he can. Well, having been set back to the back, he's been drifting through half the corners around Oulton Park, trying to get every second he can out of that car and get back up through the field. He's done a hero's effort passing half the cars in the race.
Keyshawn looking to see if he can make a move on Silva. Nothing was to be done of it, but wow, this gap is closing up. Arden just making a move on Crane in the background. Sorry, we're going to focus on this fight for right now.
And Ferreira recovering nicely in the McLaren to rejoin this fight and make it 3 cars again.
He seems to have insane pace. These this 3-car battle again for P18 is just, it's, I don't know what else to say. It's been really good. I'm sure they're going to watch back the broadcast and they're going to be surprised that they were the highlight of it.
Well, timing screen lighting up with penalties. We have Moore, Artem, and McCord all showing time penalties now.
You know what? We have Mike Middleton only 1/10 behind, looking to go on the outside. A little bit of contact right there with Jake Foucher. And Ro Melia is just up into P23. He's happy to see that, but we in the booth are not. On the inside right now is Rodrigo looking to make a move on Keyshawn.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Silva slides. Rodrigo backs out, and Keyshawn maintains the position. Jake Foucher in his fight with Mike Middleton did not end as they were just lapped by the race leader, Peter O'Brien. But Jake trying to do whatever he can to close this gap back up. Meanwhile, TJ only 5/10 already off of Mike Trewicki. I think we'll see one more lap from these drivers.
O'Brien just crossing the line now.
Oh, so that's it. So that's
So this will be white flag. This is the last lap.
TJ's looking for anything he can possibly do right now to get around Trewicki. Trewicki has been on the attack all race. I'm sure he's not happy to be on the defense right now. We're going to see if he can get anything done. This TJ going into the corner. Meanwhile, getting ready to cross the line. We have Gavin and James Leader racing down to the finish line. James Leader in P11, Gavin Moore in P12. Are you quite sure that this race is that the leader has finished?
He'll be finishing next time by.
Meanwhile, TJ looks like he gets that move right around on Mike Trewicki. 5 seconds separating him. I don't expect to see TJ back in another fight. But Juan Carez with a second behind Ilpo, or second with Ilpo behind, 3/10 to Joe in front, looking to see what he can get done.
This battle has closed right up. Joseph Chow's time has run, his gap has run out, and everybody's caught up with him. He's managed to get up into 6th, in part because of the melee on the first lap. But now he just needs to hold on through a few more corners as the train has caught him.
If I'm Joe, I'm looking at Ilpo, and I'm saying, Ilpo, please keep Juan busy, because Juan is no slow driver.
I don't want to curse Joseph Chow, but he's been very consistent the whole race, and if he can just do what he's been doing for the last 30 minutes, he'll manage, as these three are still fighting to the end.
But you race with Joseph Chow, you know he cannot do what he's been doing. Right now he's in his head, yelling, screaming, hoping he can hold on to this P6, but he doesn't feel like he can. Going down with the 4-car train. Joseph Chow crossing the line. Juan Carres P7, Ilpo P8, Bob Robson P9. Let's go ahead and ride on with the rest of the drivers. As Derek Anderson crosses in P10, James Leader P11, Gavin Moore P12, TJ all the way back up to P13 after his spin. Unfortunate for him. Mike Trewicki and Kurt Moss finishing behind. Now we have Solomon Saad with Don WN right behind, looking to see if he can make any kind of move. But with the 2-second gap, I don't see that happening. Don crossing the line, P6, or Saad crossing the line, P16, Don P17, Keyshawn Hall with Mike Fazal directly behind, looking to see if he can maybe unlap himself just in this final corner. Going down the straight, Keyshawn in P18, crossing the line. Fazal's race now done. Matt Artem in P18. John Crane in P20. Getting ready. He finished his, and last driver still on the lead lap is Fernando Silva, wrapping it up in P21. That's a pretty good race in there, Pasha.
That's quite a race, yeah. The leader's kind of stretched out. Kind of sorry. Apologies to the winner for not catching the checkered flag, but we were watching some great racing in the midfield and just couldn't tear our eyes away. There was a lot of really good, really clean fights going up and down the order.
Speaking of the winner, we now have him in the booth, Peter O'Brien.
Hello, hi.
Congratulations on your race win. Are you expecting to see that from the second row?
No. I mean, the short formation lap really screwed up the Maseratis. They definitely needed that lap to get their tires warm, so I think that was huge for me and Diaz especially, considering we have, this wonderful thing called traction control. So we could just go on the first lap, and they could not. But no, overall, I think I knew I was going to be towards the front. I didn't know where in the front. TJ, Diaz, and Nixon are all quick, so usually that's the front 3 or 4, and I didn't know how that 4 was going to pan out, though.
Are you expecting to see another win coming your way in race 2?
I think that depends on the weather, which we'll be seeing shortly. If it's wet, I think Diaz is going to probably pull away. But if it's dry, I think I have a shot. I'm not going to say that I think I'll win, because I think the move that I made this race to get the lead was very sketchy, and I didn't expect an around the outside into the final corner dive to work, but it did, and I hope it can work next race if it needs to.
Do you have anything for our race winner, Pasha?
Not really. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Also love the Rainbow Dash livery.
Thank you. Someone finally acknowledged it. I'm glad it was you. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, well, congratulations again on the race win, Peter. I'm going to go ahead and drop you back in the championship race chat.
All right, thank you. Have a good time, guys.
Alrighty. Let's get Jeffery Bray in here. I want to hear what he thinks about his little kerfuffle with Colin Marshall. Hey, Jeff, we have you in the commentator's booth. Looked like you had a really good fight with Colin in the first half of the race. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, hello guys. I'm surprised that I'm actually in here. Uh, yeah, that fight was pretty sick. Lap 1, I ran the outside in turn 1 and got by him. And then, yeah, we were within half a second for like 10 minutes straight. I made a mistake on that exit, like went way sideways. So we were side by side going into that corner, and thankfully it was all clean. He went slightly wide, so I still kept it, so that was good. And yeah, that was cool.
Starting P6 of this race on the third row, are you expecting to see if you can maybe get a chance at a win here, or are you just expecting to get around Colin again, or what's your game plan?
Yeah, honestly, getting past Cullen again and maybe somehow getting past Nixon, that'd be good because he wasn't too much faster than me. So if I get ahead of him, I could probably keep him behind me.
Alrighty. Well, I hope to see some more closer racing from you. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you back in the championship chat. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks.
Nixon, you are now in the commentator's booth. We were just talking with Jeffery Bray, who said you do not seem that much faster than him, and he's looking to make a move on you.
He can try. I mean, if he does it, he needs to do it early while my tires are still cold. I don't know if you saw. I'm sure you saw from TJ, but Maserati is very scary on cold tires.
Right.
And you did not give us a full formation lap.
Well, you should take it up with our ACC head admin, Joseph Chow, who, he...
I think he's a Maserati hater. I think he was trying to cripple us. He knew. This was planned from the beginning.
I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of heard him saying some things.
Well, hopefully I can repeat what I did last race and just, hold on to my position and not die. I'll be happy with that.
Well, bad luck to you. I know how you prefer it by now. Bad luck to you.
Yep.
Diaz's advice is, I should say, break a leg. So break a leg, Nixon, and
all right.
Just remember, Bray's coming for you.
If I break a leg, I'm breaking a leg into Peter.
Well, we already interviewed Peter, but I would have loved to hear his comment on that one.
He already knows.
I'm going to send you back up.
All right.
Well, as the formation lap is getting started, we're just told it was a quick formation lap. What do you expect in this race, Pasha?
Well, hopefully not a repeat of the first couple of corners of the first race. We'll see if we can keep it clean here and see some battling towards the end of the first lap.
You think
coming to the line now?
Think we're going to end up getting to see those Maseratis falling back again? And how do you think that's going to end up playing out?
Well, time will tell. We'll see if TJ can learn and from the events of the first race and keep his wheels under him as we head to the green.
And currently, we already see the Maserati of TJ back in second. Peter O'Brien in third. Peter with the warmer tires and with the traction control, looking to see if he can get anything done to TJ going through that corner in the slipstream. Looking to see if he can make a move.
TJ showing some incredible drift skills to get around the corner on this first lap and hold that place.
Some insane fighting right now. Ooh, that was a little close from Peter, and then TJ gets a little loose.
Big wiggle.
Meanwhile, Nixon, who said he was going to send it into Peter, looking to see what he can do. Jeffery Bray got back around Colin Marshall. Looks like now he has his chance to get at Nixon. He mentioned that he didn't think Nixon was that much faster, so let's see if he can maybe close it. Peter's still trying to see what he can do to close the gap right now, as the tires are still warming up for TJ. But they're going to be getting there soon.
Quite a mix of understeer and oversteer as we head through the Sector 2 chicanes for the first time. Every pylon on the edge of the track has already been taken out. It didn't last long.
Who needs those pylons anyways? That's what we have practice for, right?
I mean, the programmers of ACC went to all the trouble to make them break away like that realistically. It would be a shame to not make them do it. Oh, as we see O'Brien going for the move on TJ, who understeers out of the last corner, going up the front straight. Move may be done, but O'Brien has the better line into T1, but TJ coming back on the outside.
O'Brien positions his car exactly where he needs to, but TJ looking to see if he can get maybe a switchback going. On board with TJ, sitting right behind, looking to see what's available, if there's anything, and O'Brien perfectly positions his car. Make sure he's leaving absolutely nothing. But this battle's not over yet.
You see both the Maseratis this time, TJ and Nixon, both maintaining their positions and holding their place at the front of the field. It'll be only a matter of time before their disadvantage is gone, and they'll be able to contest hotly.
Meanwhile, Joseph Chow losing out to Bob Robson and Gavin Moore. Looking to see, as we see Mike Middleton in the background on the outside of Joseph Chow, seeing if he can do anything in that McLaren. On the inside in the next corner, a little bit of contact with Chow directly into Mike Middleton. Doesn't look like it did. Doesn't look like it ruined Mike's race. Mike's getting away fine, but Joseph is not, with Juan Carres on the outside in the next corner. A little bit of a bump, a little bit of another bump. GT4s can take it. Third bump going into the corner. Joseph Chow takes a little too much curb. Juan Carres on the inside. Looks like he got the position. Better exit.
Still side by side. It looks like Joseph wasn't going to lose out too badly, cutting the chicane there after the contact. But now, as you say, that may have gotten into his head a little bit, breaking his concentration. Juan taking the line into the corner.
Joseph just not wanting to leave any room. I think he decided it's his racing line, and Juan can do what he can. But Juan decided he can do quite a bit, moving up into P10. But now Joseph with Ilpo directly behind, looking to see if he can make a move, going down the pit straight. Is there anything he can do? Looks like he has the better exit speed, but no, nothing's available.
Hopefully he doesn't have too much damage from all those contacts. We'll see how it plays out for the rest of the race. He just needs to get settled in, get his head back in gear, and see if he can just shake it off and make those positions back. We know he has the pace from the first race. It's just all up to him to do it again now.
It looks like there's battles all throughout the field. You see James Leader in P15 looking to see if he can make a move. But while he's trying to do that, Kurt Moss directly behind, seeing what he can get done.
Up at the front of the field, it looks like O'Brien has made a move on TJ to take second back. Not sure what happened there. Maybe a little bit too much Dorifto from the Maserati at some point. Oh, it's Diaz sends the pylon in the second chicane flying again. The tires rolling down the track in front of everybody.
Meanwhile, Joseph Chow only 4/10 behind Juan, doing a good job keeping it competitive. But I imagine he might be pushing his tires a little bit too hard. Even though there's only 30 minutes, these tires do not last forever.
Leader now trying to make a move on Anderson into the chicane, just showing his nose there, but Anderson holding the inside.
We have Solomon right now looking to see if he can do anything to Keyshawn in front with Mike Fazal. Looking to see what he can do. We saw him last race. He was a lap down, but he still was able to stick his nose in on the faster cars in front, or on the slower cars, I should say, in front. And I'm sure he's looking to make up for what happened last time around. Solomon looking like he got a little loose right there. Does Mike Fazal have the speed he needs, as Solomon eats a little bit of grass? Solomon looking to see if he can make a move on Keyshawn. A little late move, but that might mess up his exit, as you see Fazal coming through, flying through. It's going right on board with him. Looking, Solomon defends the inside, but on a late apex, it's not exactly where I'd want my car.
Big spin just behind them as Foucher goes wide in turn one and spins right there on that straight. Everybody cleanly making their way around, but now he's stuck up against the wall. It's not going to do his race any favors as he falls to last.
Not what Foucher wants. Meanwhile, we have John Crane looking to see if he can make a move on Don Devian. Both of these drivers from Pro Sim Racing with a little bit of experience, battling with each other. Leaves some really close racing, but Rowe directly behind them, challenging in this fight, might spice things up a little.
Yeah, both John and Don not quite as used to ACC as some of the others, but
Solomon a little too much grass, loses out 2 positions in one corner, now down to P20 as Keyshawn up into P18, Mike Fazal up into P19. And Fazal not quite done yet, only 4 tenths behind Keyshawn in front.
well, track map showing a stoppage up in turn 1, and oh, it's many of the leaders. Not turn 1, but the final corner, excuse me, that is, let's see, I think TJ was involved in that, and some of the others still just getting up to speed. Not sure what happened at the front of the field, but a whole lot of drama taking some folks down into the midfield.
See who are our biggest losers from that. We have Eric Diaz and Peter O'Brien still doing what they need to do to stay competitive. Nixon still in the fold. We got Colin Marshall and Gavin Moore surprising P4, so I'm imagining something happened right around there. I do not see Jeffery Bray anymore.
Timing tower shows him now back in P21. So he was, I think, also caught up in that final corner incident. Not sure what happened there. Looks like battle at the front of the field just sort of bunched up a little too much. And just cars going every which way.
Fazal about to make a move right now, and Keyshawn Hall going too wide down the straight. Dean Solomon not done with this. Fazal a little bit of a bump onto Keyshawn, trying to close as much of the line as he can, let him know, hey, I'm still there. Keyshawn not necessarily leaving a ton of room. 3 wide. Solomon decides better of it and backs out of that. Fazal looks like he's on the outside with Keyshawn right there. Keyshawn getting the better of it. Solomon now looking to go on the inside of Fazal, but he has to hit the brakes. Nothing available.
Bit of rubbing his racing there, but doesn't look like anybody has too much damage or was punted off the track. Just letting each other know they're there, using the chrome horn a little bit.
Solomon looking to see if he can move around the outside, but nothing really available. One of the best parts about GT4 in this game is you don't get netcoded. I mean, it still happens at times, but GT4 and ACC is just, it actually has a contact model that works.
Certainly much better than the AC model of, oops, I hit somebody, I'm spinning now. But yeah, nice close racing, a little bit of contact, a little bit of bump and run, and it's a nice durable GT4 cars.
You know, we have fights throughout the field. Mike Middleton looking to see what he can make on Matt Artem. Derek Anderson looking to see what he can make on Salman Saad. Looks like this little mix-up earlier kind of messed with our leaders, or messed with the grid. Drivers are everywhere.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation when folks who are in the mid-pack get lucky with the leaders taking each other out. Now they're in a much better position than they expected themselves to be in, but now they have all those fast guys right behind them trying that much harder to make up those positions back.
Fazal on the outside, Keyshawn on the inside, going through the chicane. Dean Solomon still there. Fazal looks like he got the move done, and he does on Keyshawn, but that leaves Keyshawn compromised to Dean Solomon and Mike Sherwicki directly behind. Dean Solomon eats a little bit too much curb, but it looks like he's able to keep it together. Not able to make that move, but that again leaves him exposed to Sherwicki.
Solomon actually went off there in Sector 1 on this lap and managed to recover, and the fight between Fazal and Middleton allowed him to catch right back up, or Fazal and Hall rather, allowed him to catch right back up to this fight, and yep, now it's a 4-way battle with Sherwicki. Mike Fazal looking to pull this gap and try to get away from the craziness. Let's see what he can do.
I don't know if he can. Oh, especially not with exits like that. Eating a little bit of grass, slowing down his straight line speed. Keyshawn looking to see what he can do, but it looks like there's turning into two different two-car battles between these drivers. Keyshawn looking to see if he can make a move on Mike Fazal. Around the outside, nothing to be done. Can he send it up the inside? Nothing's available, which leaves him open to Dean Solomon, who's now open to Mike Sherwicki and a little bit of contact.
Oh, Trewicki trying to go for the move on the inside of Solomon, but then understeered coming out of the hairpin. Managed to slide out and tag the wheel just wrong, and he sends him around. Solomon lucky to survive that and be the one who comes out the other side, maintaining his position.
TJ on his hero drive right now, going up against a friend of his, James Leader, setting himself on the inside of the corner. Seeing if he can set himself on the inside of the bend. Not enough to make a move, it looks like, falling right back behind Leader. We saw TJ make his way up through the field from almost dead last race, but it's a little different when you're in the top 10.
The competition's a little bit stiffer now. These are all the folks who are, within a second of each other in qualifying, right at the sharp end of the field. So a bit more of a challenge rating to this this objective this time around.
Anderson gets a move done right now on Sod, and that leaves an opening for James to try to send it, but he chooses better not to, parks it, but he gets blocked by Sod in front, leaving the door open for TJ with the better exit.
Yeah, James very much caught in the middle. Every time he attacks, he has to be careful not to leave himself open to a counterattack from behind.
Going too wide right now with Sod, both in the Camaro. I respect all Camaro drivers. They are the best. But meanwhile, TJ decides he's a little bit better, looking to see if he can make a move, but decides better of it, backs out. Kurt Moss now joining the fray. TJ needs to get a move done now, and it looks like he will.
Anderson looks like he's holding this group up a little bit, but once they get to the straight, he's the one with clear track and is able to pull away just a little bit and maintain the position.
TJ looks like, yeah, he gets that move done, leaving James compromised right now to Kurt Moss. But it doesn't look like Kurt Moss is going to have quite what he needs to be able to make a move and get done there. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of a battle right now between Ilpo and Joseph Chow for P6.
And not to alarm anyone, but Diaz and O'Brien are within half a second of each other for the lead of the race.
Oh, wow. So they're not just, the leaders aren't just driving by themselves this time?
They're actually in the same frame. I think O'Brien might be biding his time a little bit, just sort of teaming up with Diaz, stretching the lead out a little bit, and maybe saving the battling for the second half of the race. But they're very much in touch with each other as they head around, now coming up to the halfway point.
Trying to catch Joseph Chow seems to have ruined his own race. Off near the barrier, going right back on. Sorry for the cutaway. TJ only a 10th down from Salman Saad right now. Seeing what he can get done with the better exit than Saad. Looking to see if he can stick it up the inside, but no, nothing's available.
We are halfway through, not over yet.
James Leader is trying to stick his nose in, but nothing to happen. Meanwhile, Diaz and O'Brien fighting. A little bit of contact, a little bit of a gap to Nixon. So Diaz slows down and lets O'Brien back. I think he pushed him a little wide. But that leaves him open to Nixon right there, who is not going to be as kind. But nothing can get done through that corner.
Suddenly the two-car battle is a three-car battle, and it's heating up a little. Again, Nixon now the guy, or Diaz now the guy in the middle. And for every attack, he must also defend from Nixon behind.
It's a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, we have TJ only 1/10 behind on the outside of Saad. On the inside of Saad, I stand corrected. Looking to see if he can make a move. Saad's able to hold on to it. Looks like too wide still going through the next corner. James Leader looking to see if he can make anything of this. Maybe get a better exit. Nothing's really available. Oh, never mind. TJ looking to see if he can make another move on the inside. A little bit of contact with Saad.
Oh, no. That's just run out of room there. Not sure who turned in where, but Saud going through the barriers, getting lucky there with a path through it. TJ not quite back up to speed yet. He's still stopped, waiting for a gap. Oh, he's just caught there now. Saud definitely getting luckier in that situation, finding a way to rejoin the track quickly, whereas TJ now rejoining right in the middle of the pack and has it all to do yet again.
We've seen him here before, and we'll see him here again. I'm starting to think he might enjoy pushing back to the grid.
Well, you know, a lot of the faster drivers occasionally like taking the last to first challenge, but I don't think this is quite a voluntary instance of that for TJ tonight. And now he goes into the pits.
A little bit too much damage from TJ. That's a little unfortunate. Oh, there's a battle right now between Mike Middleton and Salman Saad. Looks like Mike's able to get it pretty clean. Saad must have made a mistake.
He may also be suffering some damage there from that contact with TJ.
Bray on the inside of Robson. Robson looking to make the over-under. See if he can get the position back in that McLaren. We know the straight line speed is insane. Jeff doing everything he can to put his car on the inside and block a move. Robson around the outside, going through T1. Looks like Bray's able to keep the position. Meanwhile, behind Salman Saad, there is a two-car train from Matt Artem and Mike Fazal. I'm going to see if they can get anything done here. I'm sure Fazal is tired of being in all these fights, but it's probably a warm welcome after last race when he was lapped down. This time he's actually in the fights for position.
Yeah, and he has a possibly damaged Saud in front and Middleton in front of that. So we'll see. This may quickly become a 4-car race.
Jeff Bray now joining the fray. 3/10 behind Keyshawn. Keep an eye on that gap as the race progresses. Meanwhile, Fazal still looking to see if he can get anything done. However, Fazal's not who we should be worried about. I don't think. As he gets the better exit, he looks like he has the run right here. Let's go ahead and ride on board with him. Going on the outside, going for the over-under maybe. Braking a little bit early, seeing if he can make a move, see if the apex can be his, and no, Artem's not going to leave that up.
Pretty expertly defended, whether by skill or by luck, I'm not quite sure, but Artem just putting that Porsche exactly where he needed to keep that position.
Meanwhile, Nixon back within 3/10 of Diaz in front. They're both falling off to the leader, but it's not changing the battle for P2 right now. Pretty clear of P4, so this is only a battle for second. But, we've seen what Oulton is bringing to this grid, and I would not be too surprised to see Gavin quickly get a chance to catch up and fight for the podium himself.
Yep, both BMWs right together on the timing tower, both going through the chicane in Sector 2 now. Not quite in touch yet, but if Diaz and Nixon keep fighting and holding each other up, it's possible that they could re-enter this fray.
Meanwhile, fights throughout the field with Jeffery Bray only 2/10 behind Keyshawn Hall, looking to see if he can make a move around the outside, going into the chicane. Nothing to be made there. Keyshawn getting a little loose on the exit. Can Jeff get the line? Bob Robson directly behind, seeing if he can make something happen. And it looks like he's going to look to see if he can get a move around the inside of the following corner. That McLaren straight line speed might be all he needs to get it done. But no, he falls back in as Jeff eats a little grass. Bob Robson around Jeff for P16.
Bray trying a little bit too hard to defend that corner, compromised his line through the kink and couldn't hold on to the car. Robson makes the move, says thank you very much, and now Joseph Chow looking to make his recovery drive a little more complete.
And knowing Bray's the faster driver, and Joe has maybe a lap to capitalize on this little gap right now. He's got to do what he can with the time he has. But it just looks like Bray's starting to slowly pull away. Meanwhile, we have a fight right now between Robson and Keyshawn Hall for P15. Robson looking to see if he can put his car on the inside for the next corner. Too wide. Bray back in this fight now. Robson up into P15. Keyshawn down into P16. Bray looking to see if he can make his way into P16. Oh, a little bit of contact from Bray into the back of Robson. Meanwhile, what did that do for Joseph Chow? Looks like he got hit a little wide and ruined his chance of making an overtake right there.
Bit of an accordion effect. I was about to say Robson was making it look easy after overtaking Hall and kind of driving away, but then very slow through the hairpin, might have overshot his braking point there, and everybody just kind of piled into the back of him. Hopefully didn't get too much damage from that, and now he's at the head of this line, and oh, Anderson right in front of them, spinning out in the chicane. Everybody managing to avoid it, though.
Saw him falling down the order. I had no idea what that was all about, and Anderson's a pretty consistent driver. I'm surprised to see him on the sideline like that.
We'll have to maybe check the replay to see if he jumped or if he was pushed, as it were.
Mike Fazal only 2 tenths behind Matt Artem. Let's see what this battle's looking like. 4 tenths now. See if we can maybe get some done. A little bit of understeer is no one's friend as Artem starts to pull away. With only 6 minutes left in this race, it's been battling throughout.
We saw the times being close in qualifying, and there was a bit of a mix-up at the start of the race, sending folks back through the order. And now those close battles, those close times in qualifying, are equating into battles in the race.
What's shocking is we're seeing drivers like Joseph Chow really able to keep it up with Jeffery Bray due to all the traffic in front, knowing it's such a hard track to overtake, knowing you have to fight for every opportunity. It's just creating that little train, giving him the option, let him try to stay, do what he can. Slick thighs, save lives, livery. Meanwhile, Rodrigo looks like he had a little off-track incident himself, getting back on track, falling down into P23. I believe he lost 2 positions out of that. Let's go see what's up with Mike Fazal as he's going around the corner. Does he have the exit he needs? Let's go on board. This final corner we saw last time, he had a little bit of understeer, knowing his tires are a little worn. Is he gonna account for that? Looks like he might have, but Artem just has the better exit. Nothing you can do about that. You can see Fazal really trying to get everything he can out of this car, and I'm sure in most cases that works for him, but right now it just looks like it's working against him. A little bit of slide. He's definitely running his tires really hard, looking to see if he can get a move. Meanwhile, Jeffery Bray only 2 tenths behind on the outside of Keyshawn Hall. Inside going into the next corner, Joseph Chow trying to join the fold. Bray up into P15. But not for long as Keyshawn has the inside going into the banked corner. A little bit of contact.
Bray going for the outside move, cutting in a little early. A little side-by-side contact. Chow almost makes it through, but it looks like a little bit of either actual contact or netcode there, corner to corner. Chow can't quite tuck it through.
Look like Chow
Robson's loving this in his mirrors. He's finally getting clear now.
But Bray not done with this fight, looking to see if he can send it into the outside of the next chicane. I don't think we've seen an outside move work here yet, Pasha.
Well, there are a lot of different things you can try, but again, with that heavy front end in that Mercedes, it's not going to be as nimble as either the KTM or the Alpine. So he did his best, but just couldn't wrestle it through there quicker than the smaller, shorter wheelbase cars.
I'm really surprised to see Bray with all the trouble he's having. And I mean, I know we keep harping on how hard it is to overtake here, and we keep talking about how the driver ahead needs to make a mistake, but I feel like we've seen Keyshawn make a few. And usually drivers of Bray's caliber, the moment a mistake's made, they're instantly pouncing. That's why I get so terrified when they're behind me. You know who we haven't ridden on board with in a hot minute? Let's go take a ride with Kurt Moss, trying to see if he can make a move on our friend James Leader. I think no matter where James is in this race, somebody is trying to pass him.
And only occasionally succeeding. Yep. Just following along through the chicanes. Two very calm, even consistent drivers here. Just trying to click off the laps. I think Kurt just trying to size James up, see if there's any kind of pattern or habit that he can capitalize on. But James is a very smooth driver, and he knows how to make that wide Camaro even wider.
I think one thing we're really lucky about here at Plebian is, granted, maybe none of our drivers might have esports pace, but we have some really fast guys, and we're just really lucky to be able to watch them all kind of battle each other out, especially with this pace difference when you have drivers like Keyshawn fighting with Bray and Joe joining the fold, as Carson Schultz says, the Chow Pow. Just trying to fight their way through.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of bumping and grinding, a little bit of contact between the drivers, but nothing really severe. We have seen a couple of spins, but you're right. Even when they do get together, it hasn't been too catastrophic. Everybody just trying their best, even with these cars being a little bit harder to handle, the sim being unfamiliar and the track being tight, doing their best to keep the racing clean and respectful. And most of the time, we do okay.
Meanwhile, there's a multi-car train right now behind Matt Artem. You have Mike Fazal, Juan Carres, and Bob Robson, all within a second.
Yep, Artem and Fazal have been battling long enough for Juan and Bob to catch up to them. Now it's a 4-car train here with a minute 10 left in the race. Oh no! And Artem's slow coming out of the hairpin, and Fazal has nowhere to go but into the back of him. That sends Artem around, and Juan and Bob just go straight through.
And watching how that affects the fight between Chow and Bray and Keyshawn, it looks like it gave Chow his first actual opportunity to make an overtake, but trying too hard, he ends up falling off.
Artem, stuck in the middle of the track, watching everybody go by, has no choice but to tow, and now he's back in the pits. Heartbreak for him. He was doing really well there.
It's that commentator's curse. Joel Dallas asked me to curse everyone but him, and I don't even think Joel Dallas was able to finish this race. So, but I've done what he asked, and I've managed to keep quite a few people cursed. He asked specifically for TJ, and I feel like I've done that.
Job done. 8 seconds to go. Looks like the leader is on his last lap, and that is O'Brien in front. He's just going through Sector 1 now, or Sector 2 rather, in the chicane going down the back straight.
Keep us updated on when he's about to round the final corner. Meanwhile, we have Colin trying to fight with Gavin Moore. Maybe not for podium position, but this is for P4, right outside of the podium positions, and just impressive driving from Colin. I imagine he had quite a race both times.
Yeah, very quietly maintaining that position behind the other BMW with Moore, and they have now caught Nixon to at least make this last podium spot fight a little bit more contested.
I'm sure knowing Nixon is all cool, calm, collected, and sweating.
We have Peter O'Brien rounding the final corner again in first place. The number one proving lucky for him tonight as he crosses the line for the win.
Let's go ahead and watch the next podium finisher, Eric Diaz. And then back on board for this fight for the podium, going around the final corner. Can Gavin Moore, can Colin Marshall do anything about this? Looks like Jordan Nixon has it pretty handily. And P3, P4, P5 we see filled out by the rest of these drivers. Ilpo getting ready to cross the line. and P6, but we have a battle right now between James Leader and Kurt Moss that's still not over. Going all the way to the line. We see these drivers crossing in P7, P8, but Mike Middleton and Salman Saad to the line, a little bit closer than I think Middleton would have liked. Juan Carres with Robson behind. Go ahead, Pasha.
Timing tower shows Middleton with a 5-second penalty post-race. Not sure what that was about, but that'll put Saud ahead of him for 9th.
Joseph Chow and all of our distraction managed to get around Keyshawn, finishing P15, and so did Jeffrey Bray.
And Mike Fazal showing P13 on the tower, but with a 30-second penalty. Not sure if that was for track limits or something else, but he may have been pushed wide one too many times for the AI steward's liking. Maybe that'll necessitate a post-race review. Not sure what happened in that battle, but yeah, he won't be happy if that position's taken away by the computerized stewards.
With our last driver crossing the line, let's go ahead and get some interviews going on. Who do you think we should interview first, Pasha?
Do you think we should give TJ a chance to vent on air?
Let's see. TJ, welcome to the commentators booth.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, interesting evening we're having here.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty sporty.
You had a hero's drive making it back from the back of the field after the contact on the first lap in the first race. Had a great race going this time, but there was chaos at the front again. What I think we missed it on the broadcast, but what happened there to mix up the field there at the end of that lap?
I actually just watched the replay. It looks like someone missed their braking point going into the last turn and clipped Bray, and then Bray hit me, and then we all spun. So that's what set me back in the field, and then I was being way too aggressive trying to work my way back through, and then I got into the white Chevy there. I can't remember the name. Saub, I think his name is, and I clipped the curb and I got into him, and then I'm like, all right, I need to park this before I kill someone else. So that was it for me.
Well, that one with the battle with Saud there in the Camaro looked like just sort of incidental racing incident sort of contact, but he got very lucky in going across the grass, and you got caught there having to wait for the field to go by.
Yeah. I decided after I got into him in that corner, I'm like, no, that's it. I'm parking it. It's over.
But at least you got plenty of practice with developing your already excellent skill of going through traffic.
Yeah, it was actually fun. The first race I had a blast trying to go through the field, so it was pretty fun. I don't know how much of it you saw, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah, well, no matter how it happened originally, being able to gain 15 positions in one 30-minute race can't be but so bad.
I'll take it.
Well, unfortunately, you weren't able to snag that podium position or that win, but I know you didn't do the first challenge on purpose, but that looked like a really good time. So
Yeah, no, the Maserati is both fun and very difficult to drive. So I don't know. It can be really amazing, and then it can be very frustrating at the same time. So I don't know. I was having fun right up until I made that mistake at the end there. I felt bad. It was a dumb move. It was overly aggressive, and I felt bad for Selb after that. So it's my bad.
go ahead and drop you back up in the race chat, but thank you for your time, TJ.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty. Who else should we bring into the booth?
Let's see. We could get Peter back to comment on how he took the lead again, or we could get Jordan to talk about that battle for P2 that was for most of the second race there.
Let's take you up on that Peter option, and I want to do a Joseph Chow interview after that, and then we'll do that to round up the stream.
Oh, very good idea.
A straight line. It's going to be kind of.
Oh, you are in the commentator's booth, sir. I don't know what you were saying, but family friendly. How you doing?
We're doing this again. All right. We're doing good. It was good. I don't know how to say it. other than it was good.
So, I think
It
we
looked like a pretty close battle for the lead there for most of the race, and then managed to make that move on Diaz and pull it away.
We hit each other. Going
Oops.
through Druids. I was on his outside, and he just kind of slid wide. But it was fun at the front for the first like 5 or 10 minutes when all three of us were up there. I fucked up in the family friendly. My bad, Dave. I screwed up in the final corner and let TJ back by. Had to kind of regroup myself and try to find a way around him. Finally did, and then it was just Diaz and I had to pull back like a 3-second gap. He was definitely quick in the KTM. I did not expect to see a KTM doing 41s here. I mean, I was scrounging to look for GT4 lap times for Oulton, and the fastest lap time I could find was a 41.5. Right. So the fact that we are all within half a second of like the fastest times that have ever been posted is interesting, but it's also more interesting to me to see that you can do it in an Alpine, you can do it in a KTM, you can do it in a Maserati, and you can probably also do it in a Porsche because it's the Porsche. But that was interesting.
I was surprised to see how many cars were really showing up, and I was expecting to see a little Camaro near the front, but it doesn't look like it has the pace here either. It looks like we should have just thrown in Zolder as a pity track for the Camaro.
I mean, it's weird because I think the Camaro gets really crappy BOP at a lot of the British tracks. At least that's just how it seems. Wasn't it kind of poor at Brands too, or was it?
Well, I don't know if it was the BOP or if it's just, I don't know if you've ever driven well, you have driven the Camaro. You know it does not like windy, long corners. It likes curbs a lot.
Well, there are curbs here.
Yeah, that's
Lots
what I was
of
expecting
them.
to see. That's what I was expecting to see quite a bit from the Camaros this race.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting car to drive, but there's definitely certain types of tracks that work better. And I guess this is not one of them. I really don't know. I can't drive that B8 muscle powered car.
James in chat said, I don't know if all the Camaro drivers are trash or if the car is just bad.
I think the Camaro is a good car with the right track combo as well. I mean, obviously you need someone who's quick, and I know that James can be quick. I mean, he competes for the top spots in pretty much everything we do here. So I'm gonna blame the BOP for this track because I know it's capable of being a rocket at Watkins. It's really good at Zolder, like you said. And there's a few tracks where it really does great.
Right.
But I guess this just isn't one of those tracks.
Well, thank you for your time, Peter. I'm going to throw you back up into the championship chat, but congratulations on the double win.
No problem. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Joseph Chow. Chow Pow. The
Hello.
legendary Joe Bear.
Oh boy. What's up?
We're watching your race very closely. There's a lot going on. We're surprised to see you keeping up with Jeffery Bray. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, just overdrove Jeffrey Bray. I thought I was behind Elpo. Or are you talking about after I crashed?
After the crash. That was a whole nother question I had for you, but if you want, we can go ahead and do that now.
Yeah.
What happened with the crash?
I think I just went a little wide on exit because of the aero wash, my guess, but I might have just trying to fight Elpo. I knew I was faster, but it's impossible to pass on that track. So I think me and Jeffrey both got held up behind the KTM. And so, but then he made a mistake at the very last lap, and we both got past him, thankfully.
Yeah, we missed that on broadcast. What happened?
The chicane, he lost it, and then she kind of drove straight through it, had no exit speed. And then he tried to block, and then that held up Jeffrey, and then we were side by side. But I didn't want to risk running into him, so I backed out when we went into the next chicane.
That stinks.
But
Hey.
no, it was a fun. Honestly, even with the mistake, it was a more fun race. I don't mind. It was a good time.
So now you felt like you were struggling in your first 2 races, and you were. This time around, even though you had the big mistake, feeling a little rejuvenated, a little bit more confidence going into the next
At
round.
least one, yeah. I mean, races without penalties, and yeah, I'm happy. Alpine is hard to drive, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of it, so I'm liking it.
Do you have any questions for Joseph Pasha?
Yes, like I was just gonna say, as we said before, we've seen you season after season get better by leaps and bounds every race, and it definitely had the pace tonight. But as you say, it was very hard to make up places once you lost them. But you did a really great job in holding your own in some of those battles and making some of those places back, and especially in the first race, just holding on to what you had and keeping it together. So looks like it's a bright road ahead for the rest of the season if you can keep that trend up.
Yeah, race 2 was very aggressive. I got kind of bullied, unfortunately, at the beginning, but then there was that massive crash, so it all evened out.
Congratulations on 2 great races.
If you can call them that, but I'll take them.
Hey, you know
They're
how
fun.
I view races. It's not about the win; it's about the battles. And in my mind, you had 2 great races. So I'm gonna throw you back up in the championship chat. And good luck in the next round. Where are we driving next, by the way?
We're driving on Bathurst with a time multiplier, so it will be interesting for strategy and to see what people do with that.
And before I let you go, the Maserati drivers were complaining about the short.
Yeah, that was a mistake on my part.
Yeah, it was brought up, and I was blamed, and I threw you directly under the bus. So I'm gonna go ahead.
That's fine.
And throw you
It
up
was
in the
my fault.
championship chat. I apologize about that, and goodbye. So, any closing statements, Pasha?
Well, the GT4s in ACC proving how durable they are and aren't in this race. A bunch of incidental contact, we'd like to believe, but still, as I said, no really huge disasters, and a lot of really good, close, respectful racing. I think most of the mishaps really were just honest mistakes. But they were few, and they were certainly exciting for content. Really great battling right up and down the field. I mean, we were preoccupied with the battle for 12th or whatever it was. You wouldn't be able to tell that some of these battles up through the field are for positions way down the order. But really great fights, and hope this action continues as we move through the schedule.
Right. Thank you for joining me, Pasha. Before I go, can't let me forget. I got to go over a few things with Plebian Racing. Just some things going on right now. So we announced, since our last broadcast, we have announced our F3 championship, which filled up within 48 hours. That has been awesome to see. All 31 slots available, and that was just really cool. That's the first time I think we've had a championship completely fill up besides this ACC one, and it was the first time it's ever filled up so fast. Going off that, I will be announcing in the Discord, if you're not a part of it, you should join. I will be announcing our next Assetto Championship on Saturday nights in the V8 Supercars, in a 4-race calendar going to Sebring, Bathurst, and the rest you can see in the announcement. Last thing going on with Plebian Racing right now is we're still running our time attack on Assetto Corsa, and it is currently on Long Beach with a wide assortment of cars from an LMP2, GT3, a Mad Formula Phoenix Evo, and the biggest surprise of all is the Amazon delivery box. It's rather pacey, as you might not expect. So that's everything we got going on at Plebian Racing. I hope to see some of you involved in some of our future events, championships, or even just the time attack. Go try to beat some of our times, especially Peter's. He's proven today, double race winner, rather pacey, and on the time attack server, he's no slouch. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you again, Pasha, for joining me, and Have a good night.
Thank you for the invitation. Night.